Holistic PaRaDiSism of PointOrigin in Genesis 1:1a Aleph. Is the Messiah Mashiach coming, or are we, Paradise Genesis 1:1a Aleph, going? It's been here all this time in us as enthusiasm for the last 3,000 years plus. Can we make it to the promised land of paradise, or else will we fall back to the King Coronavirus times of Eminem? We need to strike it while the iron is hot. Let's do the math. Revelation of the Torah teaching occurred back in 1312 BCE, before the Common Era, at Mount Sinai to Moses. Today we're living in 2020, Common Era. Qualitatively valid, though quantitatively dubious argument. Adding, we have 1312 BCE plus 2020 CE gives 3332 Common Era. This means that next year, 2021, it'll be 3333, which adding reductively, we have 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 is 12. And 1 plus 2 is 3. So we have 3 again. This number 3, as we well know, corresponds to the letter Gimel, which means camel. Number 3, and is associated with a person walking, as graphically illustrated in the letter itself. The Messiah Mashiach surmise, or MM for short, is an affront to revelation of the Torah teaching. What is the meaning of Bereshit Genesis 1:1a Aleph as Aleph Bet AB? That is, Genesis 1:1a means the first word of verse 1:1, which started with the letter B, Beth, meaning house. Number 2, thus representing creation. Once accepting creation, the implication is creator, which we represent by the mute and first letter of the Hebrew alphabet Aleph, meaning head or beginning, number 1. Thus, recapping, we have Beth, house, number 2, representing creation, then Aleph, head or beginning, 1, representing creator. Next in line of the alphabet, of the Hebrew alphabet, is Gimel, camel, 3, coming to represent creative creature of humanity. In a nutshell, Aleph, Bet, Gimel, A, B, G. In Hebrew, Gimel, G corresponds to the English C. Only human creativeness would be the fulfillment of the Torah teaching. The Messiah Mashiach surmise is an unconditional declaration of surrender of our responsibility as creative creatures of humanity that we are before the Creator. This is utterly detestable and unacceptable to any self-respecting, true, conscientious believer. It seems to be the case that the letter Gimel, G, in the creation story in Bereshit, Genesis, in beginning of 1:1 to 2:3, is not associated with humankind. However, it most definitely is in the auxiliary second creation story. My claim is that if it isn't in the one creation story, it doesn't affect things. Then the MM surmise must be at the level of the second creation story. However, with the second creation story, it's a different matter altogether. It'll start with the, quote, tree of life in Hagan, the garden, then the four rivers to water the Hagan, the garden, the admonition not to eat from the tree of knowledge, then finding a helper corresponding to Adam by GD, then by himself, then the making of Eve from his side, then the serpent and eating the fruit, conversation with Eve, don't touch the fruit, she eats and gives to Adam, waistcloths made to cover nakedness. How do they know? Serpent crawling on belly, also taken from tree of life, besides tree of knowledge, driven out, and the stationing of the cherubim at the entrance. A taste of Moses. Given Gimel putting us on earth, revelation Beth of Torah, preceded by creator Aleph. Post-2020, non-messianic time, Dalet door. Goal, hey, jubilation. That is, our part is to walk Gimel, G, the talk Beth, B, guided by Aleph, A, open the door, Dalet, D, and onwards to jubilation, H, or E rather. We were given the Gimel to start with. Later on, we were revealed the Beth, E, of creation in the Torah, and from this we can figure the Aleph, A, of the Creator. Once having the Aleph, Bet, Gimel of language, we can move on from there to open the Dalet door to jubilation, E, Hey, of earthly success and heavenly salvation. I believe in science lato sensu and in the Bible stricto sensu, solely the core Torah teaching. I believe in both, but not keep them separate. I believe also in the link paradise. My claim is that the Messiah Mashiach coming is rabbinic, not biblical. Speaking stricto sensu, the Bible is Torah teaching, and lato sensu, the Bible is Tanakh, Hebrew Bible. The hierarchy top to bottom is Moses, to whom the Torah teaching was revealed, followed by the Nevi'im prophets, and finishing with the Ketuvim writings. You can't have it both ways. Either there's a hierarchy or else it's free for all of chaos. Our guiding principle all along has been triad parts PRD, one whole S of paradise, as dictated by Genesis 1:1a Aleph. Just like there's only one creator, not many, there's only one principle, not many. There's only one whole S, and all the rest, however many there might be, all fall into the triad bag of PRD. It's that simple. There's only one conversation, it, dialogue with you, of GD and us called language. But from whom do we know it, since the Torah teaching is revelation? From the sages and rabbis and scholars. But why believe this one thing of Torah and not the rest of the Tanakh? But what is revelation anyway? Touching base with Aleph A of Genesis 1:1a Aleph is what makes all the difference, like sleep when you feel wasted. That's the secret of combining creation with creator, or rather, not keeping them separate, as in Genesis 1:1a Aleph. We know it in our hearts to be true, or rather, only as far as our hearts go do we know it. Vestiges are only plausibility. We know it as whole living beings S and as triad parts PRD, as the vestiges of heart D, narrative documentary mind R, and historical archaeological P. That's the whole character of revelation, as whole like a column of cloud, distinct from inspiration prophetic, enlightened writings, and scholarly research. Revelation as whole is beyond words. The best next thing is a triad parts prophetic writings and research. Prophetic is not impossible, writings are not implausible, and research is not improbable. If nothing can be said about the one whole, then only non-negatives can be said about the triad parts. This is clearly visible in the characters of the biblical narrative. There's always the buffer zone between the imaginary and the real as narrative illustrated in the realm of revelation. We'll never find the bones of Moses or Aaron, though we may those of Joshua. Never find the tracks on the desert, but yes, the tribes settling in Canaan. All this is the narrative of one whole S of revelation of the Torah teaching unfolding as triad parts PRD of Nevi'im prophets, Ketuvim writings, and research respectively. The take-home lesson is that only paradise can give an account of it, thus proving the worthiness of Genesis 1:1a as fully outlined in this book. Ending the book, all the while leaving it pointing in the direction for future inquiries. The owl of Minerva takes flight at dusk and to the nest to rest at dawn. There's a dire need of continuation of the Enlightenment project of holistic reason as science and religion. What's killing us is the science-religion separation, not COVID-19. The PaRaDiSism project is like a pomegranate, collective effort of individual insights. Well, that's all, people. You're truly Rick, your Chattanosin, GD Bless, Austin, Texas, capital of the world.